Today is the 1st of October 2025. 2 days ago, I spoke about the second proximate cause of mindfulness, which is none other than the four foundations of mindfulness themselves. In other words, once mindfulness is established, that very mindfulness becomes the nearest cause for developing new, stronger, and more powerful mindfulness. At that point, I explain how crucial unbroken continuity of mindfulness is, both for the arising of new mindfulness and for strengthening the existing one. I also discussed how one should practice mindfulness in sitting meditation, walking meditation, and throughout daily activities from early morning until the moment one goes to bed. I would still like to point out the main points from the last talk, especially because of few new meditators just arrived yesterday. This recap will help the new meditators catch up and serve as a helpful reminder for those who have been practicing for some time. So, to observe any object, any meditation object, and to give rise to mindfulness, whether in sitting meditation, walking, or during daily activities, one must aim at or direct attention towards the object. For example, if you are about to observe the rising and falling of the abdomen, you should aim at the abdomen accurately without letting the mind drift away. If you are observing the movements of the feet in walking meditation, you should aim at the feet. During daily activities, you should aim at the specific part of the body that is functioning at that moment. At the same time, one should apply sufficient effort. One should apply sufficient effort to propel the mind or push it toward the object to be observed. With these two mental factors, aiming and effort, one should observe the meditative objects. So they're new meditators. Remember these two essential mental qualities to cultivate in your practice: aiming and effort. Accurate aiming and sustain sufficient effort. Aiming helps you on the meditative object, while effort propels your mind toward it. Two qualities are developed. The mind naturally settles close to the meditative object. When you observe an object with accurate aiming, sufficient effort, perception perception recognizes and records the object. As you continue to observe repeatedly with continuity and consistency, that perception that perception becomes firm and steadfast. And this firm and steadfast perception gives rise to mindfulness. And this is the first proximate cause to arise mindfulness. I repeat, the firm and the steadfast perception is the first proximate cause to arise mindfulness. Therefore, meditators should observe each and every presently arising object without analyzing or judging it. The role of perception here is crucial. It helps to mark and remember object clearly. When perception is stable, mindfulness arises naturally and becomes stronger over time. But but this is not the ordinary mindfulness. This is not ordinary mindfulness, not the kind that wobbles or drifts away from the meditative object. Rather, it is mindfulness with the characteristic of non-superficiality. Mindfulness that sinks, plunges, and dives deeply into the object, penetrating it with steadiness, clarity, and full presence. So, to all meditators, make sure you are observing your meditative objects deeply, whether it is the primary object or secondary objects. During sitting meditation, the movements of the feet during walking meditation, or the objects of daily activities. Do not observe casually, reluctantly. Let your mindfulness be sincere, thorough, and unwavering. And remember to truly penetrate the meditation object, you must apply sufficient and sustained effort. You must apply sufficient and sustained effort. It is through this continuous and steady effort that mindfulness gains the strength to repeatedly observe and penetrate the object again and again without wavering. As a result, the mind develops the ability to remain non-forgetful. Non-forgetfulness is the function of the mindfulness. Non-forgetfulness is the function of the mindfulness, holding the object clearly and continuously in view. This is how mindfulness matures, not through brief moments of attention, but through persistent, wholehearted observation. Then the mind begins to turn naturally toward the meditative object, just as a sunflower turns toward the sun, or a compass needle points unfailingly to the north, without force, without hesitation. The mind inclines inward, steady and unwavering. Uh, it faces towards object with interest and rests upon it with calm attention. And this is the manifestation, the first manifestation of the mindfulness, facing towards the meditative object, or being face to face, or confrontation is the first manifestation of the mindfulness. Now, this mindfulness, when properly developed, uh, it guards us like a trained watchman. It stands at the gates of the mind, alert and discerning, watching wisely for any sign of danger. And what are these dangers? They are the defilements, greed, anger, and delusion. Greed, anger, delusion, or defilements. When mindfulness is present, it recognizes these defilements. The moment, the moment they begin to arise, and it blocks their entry. It doesn't give them chance to take root in the mind. Mindfulness doesn't give them a chance to take root in the mind. Just like a house protected by a skilled watchman stays safe from burglar. A mind protected by mindfulness remains safe. Mindfulness uh, remains safe. A sense of safety arises. A sense of safety arises, and as the mind is well guarded and protected, it stays free from disturbances. It stays free from disturbances. It becomes a place of stillness and calm. This moment of freedom, however brief, is called mutti. Mutti in Pali. It means deliverance or freedom. Even it's only temporary, even if it's just for a moment, that moment is real. It is a true test of liberation. It is a true test of liberation. It may not yet be final liberation, not yet full awakening, but in that moment, the mind is free from defilements, free from like craving, free from aversion, free from confusion, and so on. And the freedom is not small, it is something precious, something to be respected and cultivated. So every time you are mindful, truly mindful, even for a single breath, know that you are tasting a moment of freedom. You are tasting a moment of freedom, and moment by moment, those small freedoms begin to form the path to lasting liberation. Not only that, when the mind becomes free from defilements, even for just a moment, it does not remain empty or dry. In the absence of greed, anger, and delusion, what naturally rises is a sense of lightness, joy, and rapture. A sense of lightness, joy, and rapture rises, and this joy is not dependent on anything external. It is not the joy of like gaining something or receiving praise or enjoying comfort. Rather, it is a spontaneous gladness of the mind, a rapture that arises simply because the mind is clean, clear, and unburdened. At the same time, mental comfort or bliss naturally arises. Uh, At the same time, mental comfort or bliss naturally arises. So these are the immediate benefits of mindfulness: protection from unwholesome mental states, blocking and defending against the intrusion of defilements, a sense of safety within one's own identity, freedom from craving, aversion, and delusion, joy, inner peace, mental comfort, and bliss, rising moment by moment. These are the immediate benefits that can be enjoyed by meditators by development of the mindfulness. Right here, you should understand clearly the stronger the mindfulness, the stronger protection, blocking, and defending. The stronger the protection, the greater the sense of safety. The stronger the sense, the stronger the safety, the deeper the freedom. The greater the freedom, the more profound the calm, joy, rapture, and mental comfort. And these benefits do not take time, they arise in every single second when the mindfulness is present. If mindfulness is there for 1 second, you taste. You taste 1 second of fruits, these fruits. If it's there for 2 seconds, you enjoy 2 seconds of clarity, peace, and safety. If you are mindful for 1 full minute, that's 60 moments of freedom. If 5 minutes, then 300 moments. Moment by moment, mindfulness arises, and mindfulness enriches the heart or mind. But if you lose mindfulness, even for a single moment, these benefits are lost. One missed moment is one lost opportunity. 60 missed moments is in a minute, then thousands in an hour. So that is why we place such strong emphasis on unbroken, continuous mindfulness. We place such strong emphasis on unbroken, continuous mindfulness in sitting, in walking, in eating, bathing, using the toilet, brushing your teeth, even while preparing to sleep. Mindfulness should weave through every posture, every moment, every breath, and every thought as best as you can. On the last day, I mentioned that a hardworking meditator becomes capable of noticing the very last moment, the moment just before falling asleep, just before falling asleep, as they try their best to be mindful even while going to bed every day, that mindfulness becomes the cause for the mindfulness of the next day. And every morning when you make the effort to be mindful from the moment of waking up, over time, such a diligent meditator may even become capable of observing the intention to wake up. Intention to wake up even before any movement or even before the opening of the eyes. I said that here the intention to wake up does not refer to the moment after opening the eyes, but rather to the moment, rather not before, rather to the subtle moment, intention that arises even before any movement, before the eyes open or body shifts. I did mention last time, such meditators may often notice automatically the bodily movements or shifts that occur during sleep without any deliberate effort to observe them. This is also I mentioned last time. At this point, now, at this point, many meditators ask me, how can we maintain mindfulness during daily activities? We keep losing it even though we try. To that I would say first and foremost, you need a strong willingness to be mindful in all activities. If your willingness, your determination is weak, it won't be easy to succeed. With that great willingness, you must also make a clear commitment, like no matter what happens, I will do my best to stay mindful. I will make it no matter what. So this kind of clear commitment is required. Then practically speaking, make sure that your eyes are well restrained and your movements in daily activities are not rushed or fast. Because if your eyes are wandering and unrestrained, and if your body is moving too quickly, then it becomes very difficult to maintain mindfulness. The text mentions that one should act as if blind, even though one has eyes, just as a blind person has no interest in visible objects. Similarly, a meditator should not take any interest in what is seen. Rather than looking outward, they should turn their focus inward and observe internal objects. If for any reason the eyes happen to see something, one should immediately become aware of it and promptly bring the attention back to the meditation practice. The text also mentions that one should act as if weak, even though one has strength. A healthy person can move quickly and with energy. However, during meditation, one should behave like a weak or sick person. For example, a person suffering from back pain moves slowly and carefully. In the same way, a meditator should move slowly and mindfully, maintaining gentleness, calmness, and awareness in every action. These two qualities, acting as if blind and as weak, are essential for maintaining mindfulness during daily activities. However, if you are someone who is easily distracted by sounds, then a third quality should be added, that is, act as if deaf, even though you have ears. Do not prick up your ears or take interest in sounds, and then avoid getting involved, with them, just as you turn your attention inward instead of outward through the eyes. You should also avoid following sounds through the ears. So this must be followed. In addition to cultivating this quality, it is important to maintain a consistent order of activities throughout the day, especially during transitions between postures or tasks. This structured approach supports mindfulness, helping the mind stay stable and attentive in each moment. For example, when a sitting meditation session ends, observe carefully the sequence of intention and movements. Observe carefully the sequence of intentions and movements. Like, what is the first object that arises in the mind? It might be the intention to stop sitting, or the desire to open the eyes. Then comes the second, perhaps opening the eyes. Next, the third, seeing, looking or seeing, looking or seeing visual objects. The fourth, maybe the intention to move the hands. Then comes the movement itself, like first the right hand, then the left hand. Following that, the legs begin to move. Again, first the right leg, the left leg, and so on. So each time you finish a sitting section, try to maintain this same order of actions. Just like counting 1, 2, 3 is very is easy because the sequence is well established in the mind. The same applies here if we are asked to count in random order. It becomes confusing and unnatural. But a fixed order is recorded by the mind, making it easier, more like a spontaneous and more effortless over time. So this is just an example. On 2 days ago as well, I mentioned how to observe when the sitting section ends. So this is just an example. In the same way, throughout your daily activities, you should try to maintain a consistent and mindful order of activities. This structured approach helps train the mind to stay present, attentive, and grounded in each moment. Let's take another example, opening or closing a door. So bring full awareness to the entire process in a deliberate and orderly manner. Like a first, stand still in front of the door and note the intention to open or close it. Second, observe the movement of reaching or stretching the hand toward the knob. Third, notice the touching and holding of the knob. Fourth, be aware of twisting or turning of the knob. Fifth, observe the pulling or pushing of the door. Six, notice the releasing of the hand and any subsequent movements. So each of these steps should be performed mindfully and in the same order each time. Repetition builds familiarity, making the process more natural and effortless over time. So, disordered actions By contrast, confuse the mind and weaken mindfulness. By consistently observing and repeating the same sequence of mindful action, the mind becomes more stable, more present, and more deeply attuned to the flow of experience. This structured awareness helps integrate meditation into everyday life. Despite practicing in this way, you may still miss certain action, and this is natural. This is natural. Don't get discouraged or disappointed. Instead, when that happens, simply take note of it and mentally mark that missed action. Reflect and remember, what did you miss? Remind yourself in advance. Uh, Reflect and remember, what did you miss? The next time you are about to perform the same tasks, remind yourself in advance to be extra mindful of that specific action you missed previously. This is how you gradually cover the gaps in your awareness and build a continuous, unbroken thread of mindfulness. Nobody's mindfulness is perfect in the beginning. It's about being present, honest, and consistent. Each missed moment is an opportunity to learn and deepen your awareness. By gently and repeatedly bringing your attention back to what was missed, you train the mind to remain more steadily aware in all activities. Again, if there is a particular action you consistently struggle to be mindful of, if there is a particular action you consistently struggle to be mindful of and you truly want to improve, you need to give it special attention, even more than other actions. Uh, think of it like a subject in a school that you are weak in. What do? You focus more on it, spend extra time, and put in more effort than you would for the subjects you are already good at. The same principle applies here. For the action you are weakest in, double your mindfulness, apply extra effort, and bring sharper awareness. Over time, this focused attention will help turn your weakness into strength. So observing and noting. Intention can be especially helpful in connecting two activities or during transitions between postures, particularly for meditators who have been practicing for some time. So means, so try to note the intention minds, especially uh, during the transitions between postures. That also helps connect the mindfulness, and this can serve as another technique to help and cultivate the unbroken mindfulness. On the last day, I also urge you to observe and note intentions as much as possible. And noting intention is not only helpful for cultivating unbroken mindfulness, but it also plays an important role in developing discriminating knowing or insight into mind and matter and into the law of cause and effect. So, noting the intention plays an important role in developing the discriminating knowing or insight into mind and matter, into the law of cause and effect. So these are a few techniques to help maintain unbroken mindfulness during daily activities. Uh, Techniques that must be applied again and again. It's not something like that happens overnight. It requires steady effort, patience, and repetition. However, however much you however much you tried yesterday, try a little more today. However much you have tried today, try even more tomorrow. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Gradually, mindfulness will begin to like uh, to carry over into all your movements, actions, thoughts, not just during formal meditations, but throughout your entire day. So these are some few techniques to maintain mindfulness during daily activities, and we are talking all these under the proximate, under the topic of proximate cause, the second proximate cause of mindfulness, and it is the four foundations of mindfulness is themselves the proximate cause of the mindfulness, or the every preceding mindfulness is the proximate cause of succeeding mindfulness. That is why yogis, meditators should develop unbroken mindfulness so that the preceding mindfulness supports or contributes the succeeding mindfulness to develop, to sustain, to cultivate, to mature, or to develop a new strong mindfulness. That's why may all meditators be able to practice continuously with consistency, with unbroken mindfulness. By practicing continuously and consistently, may you be able to develop a new mindfulness and stronger, sustained mindfulness. And by development of the mindfulness, may you be able to develop concentration and wisdom as well.